everyone, this is Steve at Brass Horse Studio, and I've got some tips today to help you navigate the Get My Payment portal, because it seems like there's still a lot of problems that a lot of people are having navigating that IRS Get My Payment portal all the way here in the first week of May, and navigating that website to see if they'll get a stimulus check and when they'll get a stimulus check. So I want to thank my community of subscribers. There's several of you that have written in some great tips that have worked for them. So if you find value in this video, please consider liking and subscribing to it, watching it all the way to the end. That really does help the YouTube squirrels run faster and distribute this to more people who could be looking for help. And I just want to thank this community of subscribers that have built up kind of suddenly over a couple of videos, and the help that you have given me and the help that you've given other people with your comments has been fantastic. Hey, forgive me if you see me looking down at some papers, because this has a lot of information in it, and I want to make sure that I get it all and that I say it the right way. So I want to lead you in the right place. Hey, if this video doesn't happen to address your particular problem, you might want to raise that in the comments down below, and other people perhaps can help address that. And if it's a problem that I see come up a lot, I'll maybe be able to make a video about it to help. So, and if something worked for you, please put that down in the comments down below too. That'd be really, really helpful. So, all right, let's dive right into it. Okay. So the first tip is for people who have filed taxes. So if you have, find your 2018 return, or if you've filed your 2019 return, find your 2019 return as well. You're going to want to probably get both of these, because just because you filed your 2019 return does not mean that the IRS has processed that file yet. So they may have it, and they may have even sent you an acknowledgement that they've received it and that it's been accepted, meaning there's no problems with the submission, but that doesn't mean that they've processed it yet. Well, especially if you've moved since 2018, 2019. So please have both of them available, and I think that will help you. Okay, first, when you get to the Get My Payment portal, the first thing to do is to type in your Social Security number. I know that using the dashes works. I know that it works well. It's worked for me every time it has. You can try it both ways, but you might as well go ahead your first time through, use dashes in your Social Security number. It may not matter, but as far as I know, it definitely does accept it with the dashes. Secondly, make sure that you type in your birthday in the following format: month, day, year. 2 digits for month, 2 digits for day, 4 digits for year. And I've got that format up on the screen with the example of July 7th, 1977. So you'll see that I have 2 digits for each one of those. Okay, use the /. It's usually right above or right below the question mark on your keyboard, and so you may want to go ahead and use that / in between them. Okay, now when you get to the street address line, use the exact same address that you had on your return. Okay, and make sure that you use all capital letters. All capital letters. Now, if it doesn't accept it the first time, and if your address has changed, try it with your previous address, your 2018 address. Make sure you use capital letters. All right, now for the zip code, just make sure that it matches the address on your return. But don't use zip +4, just use the 5-digit zip code. Okay, now at that point, it will either accept it or it won't. If it doesn't accept your address, you can try using the U.S. Postal Service zip code lookup tool. The link to that is right down below in the description. And here's what you do. Go to that link, the USPS zip code lookup tool, and type in your address as you know it. And when you do, at the bottom, it's gonna put, and it'll be in all capital letters, it's gonna put kind of the official Postal Service address. You may want to use that on one of your attempts to see if the IRS will pick up that particular address. Again, make sure you use all caps. Okay. Now, if you receive an SSA or an RRB 1099, okay, then you can use the Get My Payment app. Make sure that you use the address and the other information exactly as it appears on those forms, and use all capital letters. Okay, if you didn't file a tax return because you didn't meet the minimum income level to need to file, and you get Social Security retirement, survivor or disability benefits, SSDI, railroad retirement, or SSI, you can check your payment status, but you can't input any bank account information at this time for direct deposit. Okay, you're going to receive your stimulus check in the exact same way. You're going to receive your stimulus payment in the exact same way that you receive your other benefits, whether it's by direct deposit. Apparently 90% of recipients receive their benefits through direct deposit, or by mail, or through a direct express card. However you receive those benefits, you will receive them. Now, I know the big question is when, and what the guidance we're being told right now is early May. That's what I've read, early May. I'm not going to give you a date. I've seen other YouTube videos where they're pushing on a date. Sure enough, I see that as an invitation to disaster, because if it doesn't happen, you're really inviting yourself for some hurt then. So I'm not going to give you a date. I'm going to tell you the IRS website says early May. Okay, now, if you still receive a payment status not available notice, then the IRS likely has not processed any of your information yet. If 2019 was the first year that you paid taxes and you filed, they haven't processed that information, or they haven't processed that return. Or if you get Social Security or railroad retirement or VA benefits, it means that they haven't yet processed the information from those agencies for your particular ID number. Now, they're doing that in phases, should be about done by now, but I have read that it isn't quite complete, and they're doing that apparently every single night. So it's worth it to check at least once a day. It could also mean, if you're still getting that payment, that you're not eligible for a payment for some reason. And it's completely terrible to have to say that, because I know that if you get that notice, payment status not available, and you don't know why it is, that is just completely frustrating, and you won't know until they've completed updating it for everybody. So I'm sorry to have to say that if none of the things I've mentioned so far works and you're still getting that notice, it might be that you're not eligible. It could mean that somebody claimed you as a dependent on their taxes, so you may want to check and see if there's any reason for that to have happened, or they just haven't processed your information yet. Okay, now if you get through answering the security questions, so that's your birth date and your Social Security number and your address, it will ask you for tax return information, and it might ask you for tax return information if it hasn't given you any delivery date yet. You can try using your 2019 if you filed early, but it might tell you that it hasn't processed that yet, especially if you filed up through early April, or since early April, and you might need to use your 2018 information. So if you get through the security questions and it asks you for tax return information, you're going to want to have both of those on hand. Now, if you neither owed taxes or received a refund on your last return, then enter 0 for the refund amount or the amount that you owed. That'd be a pretty lucky hit to not have to owe any or receive any. And you hit 0. Press 0 for adjusted gross income. Okay? If you had negative adjusted gross income, don't put a negative, don't put parentheses, don't put a dash, don't put anything before it or after it. Just write the whole number. So if your adjusted gross income was negative $1,500, just write 1500 in that space. Okay? All right. If your bank account information has already been processed, then the IRS is not going to let you enter new bank account information, because the system assumes that any changes could be fraud. Unfortunately, they're going to go ahead and send that to that bank, and the bank is supposed to reject it. If it happens, one of my commenters mentioned this, that if you happen to have had your new bank account at the same bank as your old bank account, and they're going to send it to the old bank account number, which means it's going to get rejected, you can call your bank and ask them if they would be willing to deposit it into the new bank account. And one of my commenters told me that they had some fortune doing that. They had some luck doing that. All right. If not, that bank's going to send it back to the IRS, and the IRS is going to kick out a paper check and mail that paper check to you. Now, if you think that the amount of your stimulus is incorrect, you can claim the additional amount. If you can do the accounting on that, you can claim the additional amount on your 2020 tax return. So for some people who receive Social Security benefits or VA benefits who didn't enter their dependents by the deadline that they gave you at the beginning of May, you can claim those dependents on your 2020 tax return. I know that's kind of a day late and $1 short, but you can still do that. Those people who receive Veteran Affairs or Supplemental Security Income, SSI, who didn't file a 2019 or 2018 tax return have until Tuesday, May 5th to use the non-filers tool to file their dependents. You'll get $500 added automatically to your payment for each qualifying child under 17. Okay, as for the timelines as to when they'll be sent, I'm using a couple of articles here. I'll put the links to these down below. According to lawmakers, at the end of April, adult Social Security retirement, survivor, and disability insurance, SSDI, beneficiaries who had not filed in 2018 or 2019 tax returns will receive their payments if they receive their benefits via direct deposit. It says here nearly 99% of Social Security beneficiaries use direct deposit. The Treasury Department has announced that SSI recipients will receive their payments in early May. It doesn't give a day, it says early May, and they'll receive those the same way that they normally receive their benefits. If for some reason your bank account information was incorrect, maybe you've changed banks, then the IRS is going to send you a paper check. Those weekly payments will continue until everybody who's eligible gets their payments. That's according to the House Ways and Means Committee timeline. If you are concerned that your check was lost in the mail or that your direct deposit was directed to the wrong account or wrong bank, the IRS is going to send you a letter within 15 days of attempting to send that. And if you received the letter but you never received a payment, or the payment was in the wrong amount, then the IRS is going to have a toll-free number on that letter, but that number currently just has recorded information, so it doesn't right now have anybody live to talk to about stimulus payment eligibility. Okay, as of right now, there's not an option to speak to an IRS representative, unfortunately. Okay, according to one article, the IRS began mailing paper checks on April 24th for people earning less than $10,000. And each week they're going to send checks to those in $10,000 income increments. So under $10,000 went out April 24th, $10,000 to $20,000 income bracket went out May 1st, $20,000 to $30,000 should go out this week, and so on and so on and so on until they get to married filing jointly all the way up to $198,000 who will receive theirs in early September. All right, I hope this covered most information, and if you still have a circumstance that I didn't cover, there may be help for you on the irs.gov frequently asked question sheet, and the link to that is right down below. I really hope that this helped some, and I'm very, very thankful to those folks who have shared in comments and other videos what worked for them, the tips and tricks that worked for them. And again, if this video helped, then please consider liking and subscribing right down below. And if you have a tip that worked for you that I didn't cover, please put that in the comments down below as well. Would love to hear from that. All right, and look, if you're absolutely sick and tired of hearing about this stimulus stuff and people conjecture and putting urgent and breaking news and finally and all this stuff on their YouTube titles that are luring people into hearing something that is only proposed and hasn't helped yet, you feel like a carrot's being dangled in front of you all the time about different stimulus packages that aren't even being seriously considered right now, then you may like my last video on stimulitis. So go check that out. It's going to be in the corner, one of these corners right here.